Hello everybody and welcome to the Online Sociologist. I'm Ryan. In the last video, we touched on the idea of the late 19th and early 20th century German sociologist Georg Simmel's idea of pure or formal sociology. This is his belief that sociology should focus not on institutions or big historical events, but instead on the patterns that emerge when people interact. In this video, we're going to take that idea further. We're pulling from the 1950 book, The Sociology of Georg Simmel, which was edited and translated by Wolff. In the last few videos, we focused on the first chapter. But in this one, we're going to jump ahead to chapter 3. That's because this chapter gives one of Simmel's clearest examples of what formal sociology looks like in action. It's here that he introduces two key concepts: sociation and sociability. These ideas are abstract, but they help us understand something deeply practical: how society takes shape through everyday interaction. But before we get into it, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more content related to sociology. So, what exactly is formal sociology? For Simmel, sociology isn't just about studying institutions like governments or religions. And it isn't just about tracking individual behavior. It's about looking at the patterns that form when people interact, or what he calls forms of association. To explain this, Simmel makes a distinction between two things: content and form. Content refers to the personal motives or goals that drive people to act, the things we want or need in everyday life. Maybe you're working a shift to earn a paycheck, picking a restaurant to go to with your friends, or debating sports or politics. Those are all examples of content. They're what give action its energy and direction, but on their own, they're not yet social. They only become social when they connect people, when those goals lead to patterns of interaction. Form is what happens when those goals play out between people. It's the structure that interaction takes when individuals try to meet their needs together or alongside each other. And for Simmel, this is where sociology begins. Let's take a quick example. Two coworkers are trying to swap shifts. One wants Friday night off to take care of their kids, and the other is opening to covering. That's content. Each person has a reason for being in that conversation. But how they make the request, how they respond, whether they're polite or pushy, whether they feel pressured to say yes or no, that's the form. It's the social shape the interaction takes. Simmel is saying that sociology should focus on that shape, not just on what people want, but how they go about relating to each other while pursuing it. Sociation is the term that Simmel uses to describe the process of interaction becoming structured around a purpose. It's when people don't just act near each other, but come together to accomplish something, to, let's say, meet a need, pursue a goal, or satisfy an interest. And as they do, their interaction starts to take on a recognizable pattern or a rhythm that organizes what they do together. Think about two coworkers on the same shift. At first, they just say hello, but over time, they coordinate to make the workday smoother. One handles the register while the other restocks. One brings coffee, the other covers breaks. The interaction isn't random anymore. It's shaped by the shared goal of getting the job done efficiently. That's sociation, a practical interaction that develops into a stable form. Or let's take another example: the household. One parent handles school drop-off, the other makes dinner. At first, it's just convenience, but soon it becomes a structure, a reliable pattern that helps the family meet its daily needs. Sociation doesn't require a contract or a title. It's part of the flow of everyday life, wherever people coordinate their actions towards something that they care about. Over time, these small patterned interactions become the foundation of social life itself. They give our relationships structure, stability, and shape which are the building blocks of society. But not all interaction is driven by practical goals. And this brings us to Simmel's second concept, sociability. If sociation describes the way that people come together to achieve something, whether it's to work, to learn, to build, or to survive, sociability is what happens when that purpose drops away. It's a special case of sociation stripped of content. The structure of interaction remains, but it's now enjoyed for its own sake. You see this in a casual conversation at a family gathering, catching up with a friend after class, or joking around with coworkers on a slow shift. Nothing important is being solved or decided here. The pleasure comes from the rhythm itself, the give and take, the humor, the shared moment. For Simmel, sociability shows us the pure form of association, the same social dance that underlies all relationships. Only here, it's freed from the weight of goals or necessity. And because of that, it gives us a glimpse of what social life looks like in its simplest, most human form. But even in sociability, where there's no clear goal, there's still a structure. And it depends on something that Simmel calls tact. Tact is the ability to read the room, to know when to speak, when to hold back, and how much of yourself to share. It's not about being fake or polite for politeness' sake. It's about sensing what the moment can handle and what might break the flow. You've probably felt this before. You're chatting with coworkers during a break. Everyone's relaxed, then someone brings up something really heavy, such as a relationship issue that they're having. The energy instantly shifts. It's not that they've done something wrong, but the lightness that made the moment sociable has disappeared. Simmel says that sociability depends on staying within certain limits. If someone brings in too much seriousness or emotional weight, the interaction crosses what he calls the lower threshold. Now, if someone brings in something practical or self-serving motives like trying to gain something, then it crosses the upper threshold. In both cases, sociability breaks down. The interaction stops being about shared presence and starts becoming about something else. And while people might still be talking, the form or the structure that made it feel light, mutual, and balanced is gone. So, sociability might look effortless, but it actually relies on a kind of shared social intuition, and tact is what keeps that in balance. So, what do we take away from all this? Simmel's formal sociology gives us a new way to look at social life. Instead of starting with big systems or deep motives, he starts with something more immediate, the interaction itself. Sociation shows how structure forms when people come together to get something done. Sociability shows what that structure looks like when the only goal is being together. Both reveal something essential, that society doesn't just exist around us. It takes shape between us and the everyday ways that we connect, respond, and relate. I want to thank you all for watching. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, or critiques, make sure to drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're enjoying this series, don't forget to like and subscribe. We've still got more of Simmel's work ahead. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.